Here's what I've learned from being a book reader. When a book is calling out to you, don't ignore it. Pick it up and go with the flow. Hello, my name is Flossie. This is the Grape Jelly Library. I am so glad you could join me. I always look forward to your visit. Today we are going to talk about a fabulous memoir. Fabulous. Liza Minnelli. Kids, wait till you hear this. That is the name of her new memoir, released March 10th, 2026. If you haven't picked it up yet and memoirs are your thing, you're going to want to get this. If you are looking for a story that is raw and real and very, very human, you're not going to want to pass this book up. Liza is so very candid in this book. And let me tell you, kiddies, that is not an easy thing to do. To tell your truth, lest you be judged. Liza. What a colorful, what a splendid, what a tragic, what a happy, hopeful, bright, yet very dark life you've led. And you are graciously sharing that experience with us. You are allowing us to peep into your very, very private moments. Let's get into this book. Wow, what a book. Did I say that? Liza starts the book off with a foreword by Michael Feinstein, her very best friend. And when she met Michael, she knew right away that this friendship was something very, very special. And she had even proclaimed to him that from now on we are joined at the hip. And she was absolutely correct in saying that to this day. She talks about growing up in the Minnelli household with a mother who was famous, Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland, and her father, Vincent Minnelli, who was a famous director. Now, her father was caring and loving and always there for her. Papa, she refers to him in the book, and Daddy in her private life. What can you say? He sounds like a really good guy, you know? An ideal father, and just what she needed growing up, in my opinion. As for her mother was kind of a hornet's nest when she was mad. Clear the way. But when she was happy, she was funny as all heck. Everybody loves Judy, including Frank Sinatra. But we'll get into that later. As Liza grew older, preteens we're talking, she would notice her mother would go into these lulls where she would want to end it all. Yes, Dorothy, Judy Garland, no longer wanted to be, a part of this great big sphere that is spinning around. And she did some gruesome things. I don't know if any of you out there saw the movie Judy. I did see that when it came out, and that was a pretty candid movie too. And there were parts of that movie that were very, very difficult. So I could only imagine, what Liza experienced growing up in the household and having to see this and then see her mother's recovery from it and just like moving on as if nothing happened. Eventually, Mom and Dad would divorce, and there would be another wife for Vincent, followed by another child. So Liza has a stepsister who she lovingly refers to throughout this book. And then we have Judy, who had gone through a number of different boyfriends. Now we'll get into the Frank Sinatra. He absolutely loved Judy. He loved Judy. And Judy thought that Frank was the love of her life. Well, she knew he was the love of her life, but she also knew she couldn't lose her identity, Miss Judy Garland, to become Mrs. Frank Sinatra. That was not in her cards. Eventually, Frank would go on to date one of Liza's very best friends, Mia Farrow. Some other famous names that we're going to drop in this book are Candice Bergen, who I absolutely love. She talks about Andy Warhol and their relationship. We have, I believe it's Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, Gene Kelly. So she name drops quite a few famous people in this book. This book is a page turner. It is. I didn't read the physical copy. I listened to the Audible, and I do have to say, my husband said, "Oh, that voice, you know, how could you listen to that voice?" And I say, "Hey, now, Miss Liza Minnelli is 80 years old. She has earned that voice. She has stepped into that voice, and you have to find the beauty in it. Respect, because we don't all get to tell our story up until the age of 80. Can you imagine being that lucky to be 80 years old, telling your story? You tell that story, and you tell that story in your true, authentic voice, because people like me, we are listening. We appreciate your honesty. She talks quite a bit about the good old days in the 70s with Studio 54, when the disco was, happening, and, drinking and other activities were like a big thing back then. But here is also the thing. Some of the activities that they participated in, obviously illegal and very much not good for you. But some of that activity was doctor prescribed. So it was easy, very, very easy to stay in denial because, hey, if the doctor is prescribing it, it must be okay. Her good friend, Elizabeth Taylor, tried to get her help at the Betty Ford Center Clinic, and Liza did go. She did attend, but she faltered. She fell off the wagon, and then she got back on the wagon, and then she fell off the wagon. She got back on. So it's been a struggle. It's been a teeter-totter of a terrible, terrible addiction. But she says she finally did kick that habit, and it feels wonderful to be sober. And to live that sober life. Now, let's get into those marriages. 4 of them. No judgment. 4 times she has been married. And I don't think it was meant to be funny, her marriage to David Guest. But I think, like, when that happened, those of us who were paying attention all kind of stood back and said, wait, what? And not because she chose to marry a man with different sexual preferences. It did not bother her at all. But the cheating did. The stealing did. The anger and the, oh boy, the dislike for Liza that he openly displayed. All of that was like very hard, very, very hard to take. And she even says that was her biggest mistake. And she has no kind words, none whatsoever, to offer up to this man, not even in his death. And it is totally not funny. But I think maybe this is where her mother's sense of humor sort of got passed down to her, because the things that come out of her mouth are so unexpected and so not be the better person. She's not trying to be the better person. She is telling you exactly how she feels, and you gotta give her credit for that. Why should she not tell her story? Why should she keep that inside if that's how she feels? She shouldn't try to sugarcoat anything or make something try to be something other than what it really was. So that, I think, to me is the humorous part of that I totally was not expecting, a grown woman to not take the higher road, to actually, get down in that, what do I want to say, get down in that ditch and just start spewing all these not nice things, but hey, it's how she feels. And so you gotta give her credit for that. I'm giving it 5 stars, most definitely. I'm highly recommending it. I'm singing this book's praises. A lot going on in this book. Cheating, divorces, jealousy with her mother towards Liza. And none of this, with everything that I've said, I have not even touched on the cabaret life. Liza Minnelli is an EGOT. She's an EGOT, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony recipient. So that's kind of cool. I have to say, when I saw this book at my Barnes & Nobles, it caught my eye, but I walked on by. And if I went to Barnes & Nobles 2 other times, it caught my eye, but still no go for me until, I had a couple of credits for Audible, and I thought, all right, I love a good memoir, so let's see what she has to offer. And I'm going to say it's one of the best memoirs. I don't know that I ever read a bad memoir. Did I? I don't think I did. But this is one of the better ones because it's just so entertaining. It's fabulous. It's fabulous. And so I knew about this much, about Liza Minnelli. I remember seeing those commercials for the cabaret with Liza Minnelli in it when I was a little girl, maybe about 7. I remember seeing those commercials, but I don't know. I don't think that, Liza Minnelli was my thing. But she deserves a fair chance. I read the book, and this is what I call pure book joy. This is book love. When we find those books that, we want to open and put on our laps and drink our teas and just be home. Just be home reading our books and doing what we love and being so highly entertained. This one is, this one's a home run. Until we meet again, know that I love you. Be well, be good, be reading, and you know what else? Be fabulous. Toodles.